Is up, YouTube, going to be bringing you guys another top 5 today. It will be the last top 5 of the series, at least for now, until updates need to be made. That'll probably happen, honestly, after DreamHack a month or so from now. Hopefully, we'll start going back through and getting the other 5. But today, it's top 5 solo lane gods. All of these are actually going to be warriors, and that's just how it's going to be, because that's how the meta is right now. So we'll go ahead and jump right into it. We'll start at number 5 and work our way down. As I said, the top 5 will actually be warriors. Obviously, you'll be able to argue this and that about these gods, but I will try to do my best to explain why they are where they are in the meta. Number 5 for me is Osiris. Osiris is a great god. He does well in lane if played properly. There are a lot of top players that can play Osiris exceptionally well compared to a lot of, like, there are 3 or 4 Osiris players that play Osiris way better than other people. And that's the thing about Osiris, is Osiris has a little bit higher skill cap, using the abilities properly, using the tether at the right time, slowing the right person, frontlining correctly, not taking too much damage, using the passive the best way is probably the thing most people at the lower end of play, maybe not competitive, but like casual players and your ranked players don't understand, is the passive is very useful. It is what makes him so damn strong. So the top players, you'll see them position correctly, use their abilities correctly, use the passive correctly, and that's just what has to be learned. That is why he is not number 1 or number 2 or number 3 or number 4. He's number 5, simply because of that. He's got a higher skill cap, in my opinion, and because of that, he is great, but he's going to take some time for you to play correctly, so he's number 5. Number 4 on the list, for me, is Wukong. Wukong is amazing at all forms for me. While some people sometimes you're gonna have a worse laning phase. I just woke up. That's why I'm talking and saying the wrong words here. Anyway, that is why he can have a worse laning phase than others, just depending on the matchup. So learn your matchups. But for me, he's number 4. He can get out of laning phase without dying. He's got a very safe ult, which allows him to basically reset himself, almost like a Chronos, but a little bit safer because you can move around while ulting. So he can kind of frontline, take all the damage he needs to take, poke a ton, and then go up into his ult and redo everything. While he doesn't heal to full, he does heal a lot. It buys time for the team. He's great at killing people in 1v1 situations. He's got a stun, a knock-up. He's got a runaway. He has a slow. He's got a long-range poke. He's got his ult. You can dunk on people. So he just has a lot of damage, a lot of control, and he can be very annoying for teams. That's just how some Wukong works. So he comes in at number 4 for me. He will remain at number 4. He'll probably be in. He falls out. He falls out of the top 5 all the time, but then he comes right back. Nothing really changes with him. A long time ago, he was buffed, and that kind of made him perfect, and he will probably remain there for quite a long time. Number 3 for me is actually going to be Ravana. Ravana is very good. He's very annoying. He's a little bit less control-based, in my opinion. He's more of, I'm going to sit on your Hunter, or I'm going to sit on your Zeus, or whoever's immobile, and I'm going to make them worthless. I'm going to kill them. I'm going to force them out of the fight, and then I'm going to switch to the next person. I'm going to make them worthless. You build tanky, obviously, on all your solo laners. Ravana can be built either way. I kind of like a tanky attack speed type build, attack type build, especially if I'm jungling or I play this guy in the jungle, obviously. But if you're solo laning, do the same thing. Build tanky, build into a little bit of damage, and you can be very annoying. You can do a lot for your team. More so, not so much controlling. Like I said, it's more so I'm going to be in this person's face, and I'm going to be annoying. I'm going to take them out of the fight. So you beat that person in the 1v1, essentially, because you're so tanky and you do so much damage, and you are just really annoying. And you also force that person out of fight. So you turn it into a 4v4 that you're actually winning. And that is why Ravana is so good. That's just how it works. So there's our number 3. Now we will move into number 2. This is where people will start to question, argue, this and that about each of the top gods. I'm sure even though they're top other 3, people will argue. We're going to go ahead and jump into it. It's Bellona. Bellona, for me, while not the best, has a lower skill cap, in my opinion, a lot easier to play. You've got a slow, you've got a disarm, you've got a huge AoE damage dunk, basically. You have an ult that stuns people and makes you tankier. You just have it all. You have a good laning phase 99% of the time. You can be aggressive without wording. You can take out hunters out of the fight with your disarm. It's very similar to a Robin, but with way more control, in my opinion. The fact that you could disarm a hunter and then stand in front of someone else with your blocks on your one, or just dunk on one or two or three people and control them for that second and then give your team defense is amazing. Bellona just brings a lot more to the table in terms of both control, damage, and making sure the fight goes in whatever direction you need it to go in. So that is why Bellona is number 2. Great laning phase, like I said, great team fight, really strong god, build properly, and you'll be good to go. Number 1, I don't think most people will be as surprised if you watch the SPL, but it is Amaterasu. Amaterasu does well in almost every single SPL game you see her in. Her team fight is amazing. Her laning phase sucks. She has trouble clearing early and will usually lose the lane because of that. But then one good rotation after level 5, once you have that ult, can completely control a team fight. Mainly because you have a silence, which can be very annoying, and you can get into a team fight super easy. You have your 2, which reflects the damage and does a huge burst damage, so you're doing like extra damage when you're standing in front of people and they're hitting you, which is awesome. You have the heal on your 1, allows you to sustain in team fights, which is pretty clutch. It also can give you movement speed to catch people, to get your team to chase people and catch people. It can give you damage and give your team damage if you're just standing still fighting. It's all amazing, but then it comes down to the ultimate. The ultimate that lands 3 times, does damage, slows, stuns, and you're immune the entire time with a lot of movement, a lot of back and forth. It's hard to hit you, it's hard to kill you, it's hard to really do anything, especially if you're building tanky and properly and using your other build abilities correctly. You can combo your 2 with your ult, which is awesome. It's just really hard to do anything with this god in your face, and this god can be in 3 or 4 gods of the other team's face. So if you're squishy, you're an assassin, you're anything without mobility, Amaterasu will pretty much kill you guaranteed, simply because she's faster than you. You'll usually have a frost bound, so you'll be slowed the entire time. If you don't have mobility to get away instantly, you will get stunned, you will get silenced, and you'll just be controlled the entire time. And anytime any more than 1 or 2 group up, that fight will be lost because of Amaterasu used properly. You see her used properly by just about every top SPL team. You see her picked a lot and used very well, and that's just something to note. Like I said, laning phase will go badly for you most of the time unless the person doesn't know what they're doing or they pick a weird matchup. But then you look for the team fights. You look to control the team fights. You look to be in as many team fights as your team is. Anytime your team is going for an objective, make sure you're in those team fights. Gold Fury fights are really clutch for you because you can control and kind of make sure that entire space of the Gold Fury, even into their red buff, is your area, and there's nothing that can be done. So that is why Amaterasu is number 1 for me. I don't like playing her, so for me to say she's number 1 should tell you something. Like I think she's annoying. I hate that she loses lane, but her team fight is just amazing, and you can't really ignore it. Now, honorable mentions could honestly be all the warriors, but for me, it's going to be Vamana, mainly Vamana, just because Guan has presence, but I think he's better as a support than a solo laner. And my next would have to be Odin because of the situational use of him. You can see I'm leaving out Tyr. I think Tyr is kind of in a weird place. I think he does well still. I don't think there's anything wrong with him. I think top players play him very well. He's just in a weird place for me because you don't see him doing all that well right now when I play with or against him. So I'm not going to put him in the top 5. Maybe a 7 or 8, and then you've got a situational Odin. So Odin would probably be my 8 because he's super situational. You got 6 in Vamana, maybe 7 in Tyr. That's how my honorable mentions would go. Vamana's good. Nothing wrong with him, but he can be countered super hard, nemesis, anti-healing, and he can be pretty much worthless. If you kill him early with a Circat or something and you farm him early and he falls behind, he's just going to be worthless for you. Like I said, Tyr is in a weird place. He doesn't really change at all. There's nothing that super counters him. He can still build super tanky and then just be annoying in a team fight. That is always there. But I don't know what it is. He just seems to do not the best right now ever since speed has been back. So he's kind of like on my watch. And Odin, you pick him when the other team has a bunch of healers or a bunch of gods that have no leap. That doesn't happen all that often, but when it does, throw Odin in the solo lane. Once he rotates to a team fight, win the team fight, GG, you win the game. Pretty much how he works, and that's how he will work forever. So those are my top 5 solo lane gods with the 2 or 3 honorable mentions, however you want to look at it. Hopefully this helps you guys out when you're looking at what to play in the solo lane. It really should, because these are the gods that are played the most. Just to talk about other gods, you see Hercules and Chalk played very, very rarely by people like Divios, because they learn how to use them in unique ways. So it doesn't make them top 5. It just makes them useful to X or Y player, whoever that is. But yeah, hopefully this helps you. Hopefully you learned something from this. Go ahead and comment below what you guys think. I realize some people are going to want to move this god to number 4 and this god to number 1, this and that. But this is based on my play, watching competitive, being part of competitive, and just everything I've learned throughout the last couple of months of this meta. If you guys like the video, drop a subscribe below, please. We're just about at 50K. I think we're gonna hit it today for sure, but I want to grind for that 100K. So drop a subscribe, drop a like, comment whatever you guys think, and I will see you in the YouTube video tomorrow.